What's going on, everyone? So, Herb Jones. I really think the Lakers need to target and try to go after Herb Jones. I don't know what it would take to get him, but if you can, I think you have to get him. The New Orleans Pelicans might hit the reset button this season, and Herb Jones is young, but he's young enough to justify the Pelicans, or he's old enough to justify the Pelicans trading him. He's 26, right? He'll be 27 to start next season, right? Which isn't old by any stretch, but if a team's looking to rebuild, right, if he was like 23, I'd be like, no way, right? You're probably not going to get him, or even 24. Right? That couple of years is a big difference, especially if you can get a guy that can maybe make some sense, right? To me, it really boils down as like, what would be the cost for Herb Jones? But like, he is everything this Lakers team needs. Big, physical, sizable, two-way player, one of the best on-ball perimeter defenders in all of basketball that can also knock down the three ball and make plays for himself and others. Right? He would be seamless because you could slot him literally at the 2 alongside Luka, but you could also slot him in at the 3, at the 4. Talk about a guy that's 6'7", 6'8", right? That again can just be like, that versatility would be incredibly helpful. Right? Now, there's guys like Trey Murphy and stuff like that that I would like as well, but Herb Jones is the guy that I look at and go, because Murphy, I think he's younger. I think he's like 24. So they probably keep him. But Herb Jones, if you can get him for the right price, he is like one of my favorite targets. He's coming off of injury, right, which is concerning. But the Pelicans they're like cursed. I mean, players have left the Pelicans and have talked about like the Pelicans are cursed. There was that narrative and literally like players coming out that are like, dude, sometimes we feel like we're cursed, right? Like it was like a big narrative earlier in the season when everyone just on the Pelicans started dropping like flies, right? Like, so I look at it and like, get Herb Jones out of that cursed Pelicans franchise, get him on the Lakers that now have one of the best medical teams, if not the best medical teams in all of basketball, right? They can come in and he is just ideal. He's on a very cheap enough contract. He's not making 30, 40 million. Now his next contract might be, a little better, but he is on a very reasonable contract, which is something that also would benefit and help the Lakers. This upcoming season, he'll make $13.9 million. $13.9 million at 27 years old. Then he'll have one more year at just under $15 million and then an unrestricted free agent, right? You know who's exactly almost to like the dollar his contract is? Austin Reeves. He is actually one of the few wings that I would trade out. They're the same age, right? But Herb Jones is the guy that gives you elite defense. He gives you rebounding, right? He can, be the swing man. He'd be so versatile. I mean, man, I would love to see Herb Jones on this team. But let's go over the stats. Let's go over the numbers, right? So this year, again, he only played 20 games because of the curse of the Pelicans. In those 20 games, he played 32.4 minutes per game, which was actually the most of his career. 8.6 field goal attempts per game, which is also the most of his career. He did shoot 43.6% from the field goal range. He did on 3.6 attempts from three-point range, only shoot 30.6%. But before you go, oh my God, hang on a minute, right? He did shoot 53% from 2-point range on 5 attempts, EFG of 50% from the floor, right? Free throw shooting 82.5% on 2 free throw attempts per game. Rebounding, 4 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 2 steals, half a block, and 10.3 points per game. But you look at the previous year where he was healthy. He played 76 games and played a big role for the Pelicans. Let's look at that. Let's look at a full year, full sample size of him and his production. 76 games, 30.5 minutes per game, so starting level minutes, 50% from the floor on 7.7 attempts, 42% from three-point range on 3.6 attempts, 2-point percent, 56.8% from 2-point range. He's a career 54% guy, so again, 59.5% EFG, shot 86.7% from the foul line on 2.1 attempts. He averaged 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.5 steals, and a block per game, a full block per game on 11 points, right? That is the Herb Jones that I could see the Lakers getting, acquiring, and having on this roster, right? You look at his per 36, this past season would have been 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and half a block because he was just under that. But if you look at the year in which he played 30 minutes, he would have been a 13 point, 4 rebound, 3 assists, 2 steal, block game guy. So again, give you size, versatility, depth out on the wing, true starting level guy that can just do a little bit of everything out there on the basketball court. That's what Herb Jones brings. You also have to keep in mind, the Pelicans hadn't had a playmaker in years. That's why they went and traded for DeJounte Murray, and then he just kept getting hurt, right? So a lot of what Herb Jones was having to do was like with like Alvarado and guys like that on it. Right? Like he has like outside of the 76 game season, right? Pelicans have just not been a great team, right? They've been borderline fringe play-in team. Now, they did have runs and stints where they were like the number 1 seed even, and Herb Jones was a big part of that, right? But imagine him on the Lakers. Imagine what he was able to do with no true playmaker, with just the inconsistencies and just roster makeup of the Pelicans, and add him to the Lakers where he's going to have Luka and LeBron doing everything for him, and think of the looks that he would get. He shot 42% when they didn't even have a playmaker. When you had guys like, CJ McCollum being your point guard, right? Imagine what happens when Luka is your point guard and the amount of attempts and wide open looks that Herb Jones would get. Even if I'm not even saying he has to be 42%, but I think realistically, he could be 37, 38% from three-point range. I think he's a guy that can knock down the three ball with some consistency and regularity, but be that versatile, athletic defender that can rebound. Again, you can slot him in at the 2, slot him at the 3, slot him in at the 4. Like, that's versatility. He can defend 1 through 5, right? Like, those are the kind of players that the Lakers really need. Now, in a perfect world, right, because the other thing about Herb Jones is he's cheap enough to where we can get him and still get other things, right? Where we can go get a Herb Jones and still go make other moves for a center and everything else. That's the thing, is like you look at some of these guys, it's like, yeah, I would love to have this guy or that guy or this guy. But what's the thing is he's making, like Andrew Wiggins. I've seen a lot of people that are like, what about Andrew Wiggins? He's making $28 million. Right? I would love Andrew Wiggins too. Right? But at $28 million, it's a lot. And then he's going to have a player option and at $30 million that he's going to opt into. And you're talking about a guy that's going to be your 4th or 5th option, right? But yeah, would he give you the athleticism, versatility, and all that stuff? Sure, right? But to me, I think Herb Jones gives you everything that Andrew Wiggins gives you, but he's also half the price, right? Even in his second year, literally, Herb Jones will be making just under $15 million. Andrew Wiggins is making slightly over, almost $31 million, right? Herb Jones is literally making half the price. So to me, if you can go and trade for Herb Jones, he's 26 years old, that gives you now an elite two-way wing that you have out there on the perimeter. I mean, you could literally go, if you wanted to, you could go with like Luka, Herb Jones, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and then go trade for Nick Claxton, right? That's balance. You have 2 legit perimeter 3-and-D wings, right? You have a veteran one and a youthful one. You have Luka, LeBron, who is another, perimeter, be the anchor for defense. And now you got a versatile, switchable center, right? That can defend multiple positions, that can do multiple things out there on the basketball court. Perfect, right? Like that, something like that, a roster mate. If you could get, Daniel Gafford, right? If you could trade for Herb Jones, Daniel Gafford, and then go get another 3-and-D. Can you go maybe free up your full mid-level and go get a Nickeil Alexander-Walker, right? Like now you're talking, now you go Luka, with Herb Jones, LeBron James, and then like a Daniel Gafford. Again, that's a championship level roster. You got versatile wings, you got defense, you got switchability, you got everything. Like that's what the Lakers need. Lakers need guys like a Herb Jones. To me, Herb Jones, I would probably give up whatever you have to, right? And look, you can make the argument Austin Reeves is better. Like, even if you had to trade Austin Reeves, you could argue Austin Reeves is better, this, that, and the other. Sure, right? But it's not always about the names on the back of the jersey and who's a better player. It's what is the best for the team. If it was just about who could score the basketball and names on the back of the jerseys, the Phoenix Suns would be getting ready to win their second NBA championship. The Lakers with Russell Westbrook would have had 5. Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Metta World Peace, Pau Gasol, and Dwight Howard would have been a dynasty and won 10 straight championships, right? But it didn't happen. Why? Because it didn't work. Right? You cannot, are you going to be able to have Austin Reeves and Luka in your backcourt? You know what I'd rather have? A 6'8" versatile wing that could shoot the 3 ball and defend and be our point of attack. Right? I'd rather have that. Right? Again, because you have Luka. As soon as the Lakers traded for Luka, Austin Reeves became expendable. Right? Again, I'm not saying you trade Austin Reeves, but Herb Jones is not one of those guys. They're literally the same age. Herb Jones is one of the best defensive players in all of basketball, one of the best versatile wings in all of basketball, right? He can shoot the 3 ball, and I do think alongside LeBron and Luka, his three-point percentage is going to shoot up. I think he'll be a better three-point shooter, right? He's been kind of, average three-point shooter. Elite defense, average three-point shooter. You know who would have been great as an average three-point shooter? Jared Vanderbilt. Herb Jones basically gives you what we want Jared Vanderbilt to be. A guy that can defend multiple positions, rebound the basketball, do multiple things, and then also knock down the 3 ball with some level of consistency, which I think, again, slotted on alongside playmakers like LeBron and Luka, and him getting just wide open looks, I think would be huge for him in just the development of him. He's still young enough to continue to improve and get better. He could be, now you have that guy that you could have slotted alongside Luka for the next, 6, 7, 8 years. Literally. You could have Luka and Herb Jones, and then, like I said, go get that center, whether it's a Nick Claxton or a Daniel Gafford or whatever. And now you have your core for the next, again, 5, 6, 7 years. That's what the Lakers need. They need to start rounding out and building out the core. Austin Reeves is going into a contract year. He's probably going to make $30 to $40 million. He's not gonna sign an extension because he'll make more money if he goes into free agency. So now are the Lakers gonna pay him $40 million? You know what I'd rather have? Herb Jones at $15 million, and then if you have to sign him to a new contract, he's probably getting $18 to $20 million, right? And now you have the flexibility, and he'd be just a better natural fit for the Lakers. It's what the Lakers desperately need. Herb Jones, desperately, or a guy like him. Are there other options out there? Sure, but not as cheap as Herb Jones. I'd love a Jalen Suggs. Dyson Daniels is cheap enough, but I don't think Atlanta's going to trade Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels would actually be, I would trade Austin Reeves in the first for Dyson Daniels because he's 22 years old and literally running for defense. But he's historically great defensively. He's 22 years old and can knock down the 3 ball. But what's your next best thing? Guys like Jalen Suggs and Herb Jones. Jalen Suggs is making $30 million and Herb Jones is making 13 and then 15. Give me the guy that's making 13 and 15. But those are my thoughts and opinions. As always, I pass a question on you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle. Let me feel either way. I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. We enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.